I spoke to them at Comyn today. They were rolling out really their agenda for technology for the future. And give you an example is that some 7.5 million customers at the Commonwealth Bank now digitally active. There's 6.3 million of their customers who are using the CommBank app. So the natural thing to ask is about the future of bank branches, especially after coronavirus, where fewer people now will actually go into the branch. So I specifically asked them about the prospect of banks sharing their branches. Just as you know, in country towns, some regional areas, there are fewer ATMs now, automatic teller machines. Here's just what Matt Comyn said in response, and it shows that the banks really are open, potentially in the future, to sharing bank branches.
It's potential, Ross, and it's something that the industry has contemplated. One of the limitations tends to be the technology across different banking institutions is quite different. So the integration and the cost to make that a proposition that would work for a customer who could be from any bank coming into a single place. But clearly there are fewer people going into branches than there were a year ago. I mean, COVID certainly accelerated that. So we've just got to get that balance right, keep providing that convenient service, particularly in regional areas, which that's always a key focus area. And the industry within relevant competition grounds should look for ways to make sure that we're providing the best overall service experience to Australia.
So, Kieran, what you can hear is that there's obstacles, clearly competition, but also there's technology obstacles as well, potentially. But the banks have actively considered merging their bank branches as ways to cut costs. Now, to give you some indication of the number of bank branches around Australia, which are already falling, you can see from the Australian Prudential Regulation Authority that right now, around Australia, there are around 5,000 bank branches, and the numbers are falling. And so if you consider that the emphasis right now is on the banks to consider cutting their costs, one way of doing this is actually to try and reduce the number of branches. The second thing is that in terms of employment, it would be significant because right now around Australia, more than 180,000 workers work for banks around the country. And the vast majority of those people would be facing customer-facing people inside those bank branches. And so quite clearly, if the banks are considering now in this post-COVID environment to share their bank branches, quite clearly it could have significant implications for the number of people who would work for those banks.